What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one, I'm going to be going over a couple of Michigan defensive line coaching targets. We also got some Michigan football spring roster updates on a wide receiver switching to cornerback, as well as some new jersey numbers for some Michigan players, plus Michigan spring game, an update on that, where it will be televised, plus Jim Harbaugh giving more praise to JJ McCarthy. And we also got an update on how 2 visits went for 2 top Michigan targets in the 2025 class, including a 5-star offensive lineman. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing I did want to talk about is the Michigan defensive line coaching targets, as obviously Greg Scruggs resigned from his position last Thursday, and now Sherrone Moore in Michigan is out looking for a new defensive line coach. Now, one guy we already had mentioned in my last video was the Illinois defensive line coach Terrence Jamison, who basically came second right behind Greg Scruggs in Sherrone Moore's first defensive line coaching search. He's the younger brother of former Michigan defensive end Tim Jamison, so there are ties there, and he was also considered by some in coaching circles to be one of the best defensive line technicians in the country. And then another guy that Sam Webb of the Michigan Insider suggested was the Memphis co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach Lou Esposito. He does have ties to the state of Michigan, as he actually coached at Western Michigan as their defensive line coach from 2010 to 2012, and then he also spent a year as Ferris State's defensive coordinator for D2, and then he actually spent 3 years as the head coach at Davenport, and then he returned to Western Michigan as the defensive coordinator and defensive line coach in 2017 before going to Memphis. So this is a guy that has a lot of coaching experience as a head coach, a defensive coordinator, and a defensive line coach. He's also known as a really strong recruiter, which is nice. Obviously, Greg Scruggs was a good recruiter too, which is one of the reasons Sherrone Moore really wanted him. But Memphis, they did just hire him. He was a former offensive lineman there as well for Memphis. So, but I'm sure if Sherrone Moore wants him, he will be able to get him, especially with the resources that appear to be available, as Michigan has been paying their new assistant coaches very well. So right now, Terrence Jamison and Lou Esposito seem to be 2 realistic options for Michigan as their next defensive line coach. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts on those 2 and potentially other defensive line coaches out there that you would like Michigan to go and get. But the next thing I did want to talk about is Michigan football spring roster updates. First thing, obviously, we found out a couple days ago that Michigan wide receiver Carmelo English was no longer with the program, and he plans to enter the transfer portal. He said, "I thoroughly enjoyed my time as a Wolverine. I would like to thank former Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh, head coach Sherrone Moore, and wide receivers coach Ron Bellamy for believing in my ability to play at U of M. More notably, I appreciate my teammates, Michigan fans, and support staff. After careful consideration, I will be entering my name in the transfer portal on April 16th. He is a former 4-star recruit, so it does suck to lose him. I don't really think it is a huge loss for Michigan. They do have Samaj Morgan and Frederick Moore, who were actually both 3 stars in the same class as Carmelo English, and they both have seemed to be doing better than Carmelo English. So a couple of other updates: Michigan graduate cornerback Keshawn Harris is on the roster and back for his 6th season. Also, Michigan senior Christian Dixon announced on social media that he is switching to defense as he's set to play cornerback. He is listed as a wide receiver right now this spring, but seems like he will be switching to defense instead now. And a couple of jersey changes. Michigan edge Josiah Stewart will wear number 0 after playing in number 5 last season. He did wear number 0 at Coastal Carolina, which is where he came from. He just couldn't wear it because obviously Mike Sanders still was wearing it. So then a couple of Michigan transfers: linebacker Jashawn Barham from Maryland will be wearing number 1, and offensive lineman Josh Preby from Northwestern will be wearing number 68, as they both keep their numbers that they had on their previous team. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Also wanted to talk about Michigan's spring game, as it is set for April 20th at noon, and it will now be broadcasted on Fox. For the first time ever, I believe it will be aired on Fox, so pretty cool there. Obviously, Michigan's regular season and postseason, was the longest of any other team, so that's why they got a later date for their spring game this time around, which is actually pretty nice. Hopefully, we get some nice weather. It's usually been pretty cold during the spring game. And then I also wanted to talk about Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh as he continues to praise Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy, as right now it seems he may be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. A lot of NFL teams want him. There's a lot of hype behind him right now. And Jim Harbaugh said to the media that JJ McCarthy, he plays quarterback the best of all the quarterbacks, and he had one of the best pro days that he's ever seen. So pretty cool there. I kind of wish, Jim Harbaugh would get JJ McCarthy in the draft. I just don't see it happening because they already have Justin Herbert. But that would be pretty cool. Maybe in the future, you never know. But it does seem like, whoever drafts him wants him to be their franchise quarterback. And I don't blame him. He is a winner. I can't wait to see, all the great things he does in the NFL. So let me know your guys' thoughts on all of that. And next thing I did want to talk about is some recruiting news. A couple of Michigan targets visited recently. First guy is a 2025 four-star running back Bo Jackson from Cleveland, Ohio. He is ranked 66th nationally on 24/7 Sports composite rankings. Right now, Ohio State, Kentucky, going after him hard as well. But he was on campus this weekend, and he told 24/7 Sports that the visit to Michigan was great. He went with his family, and he said we spent the entire day on campus, got to see and absorb so much information about the school and the program. He also got to meet Tony Elford, as obviously was a familiar face as he was recruiting him at Ohio State before coming here to Michigan. He said, I've been knowing Coach Elford since my freshman year, and he loves it there and thinks highly of everyone there so far. And it seems that with Michigan hiring Elford, it seems Michigan is really back as a real contender in his recruitment. He said it's pretty late in the process for me with all the changes that happened there. I wasn't sure about them, but we spent a lot of time on campus yesterday and loved every minute of it, and I got to get a real feel for the school and football program. So Bo Jackson had a good visit recently to Michigan this past weekend. And then another big time recruit in the 2025 class that was on campus for a visit was the 2025 five-star offensive tackle Andrew Babalola from the state of Kansas. He is ranked 15th nationally on 24/7 Sports rankings. And he told Zach Libby of the Wolverine that the visit was great. I met with Coach Newsom and got to hang out with him, also hang out with some of the players, and he watched practice and got to talk to Coach Sharon Moore. Now, Babalola does have ties to Michigan. He was actually born 45 minutes from campus before his family moved to Kansas City. And I just talked about Michigan, the practice. He said the offensive line looked really good. Coach Newsom really puts an emphasis on the little things and attention to detail. And Sharon Moore, he said that he is a priority in the class and they want him. He also talked about Justin Trez, the weight room. He said it's really good. The weight room is the biggest one in the country. So seeing the body types, the offensive linemen, the players in general, they're doing a great job in that department. Just said that he loves the culture there at Michigan. And he said he's definitely looking to take an official visit to Michigan. So very good there. And with that, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.